Hi guys, and welcome back to another SempreMilan's TV video. In today's video I'm going to take a look ahead to this weekend's Milan derby. Today I'm joined by a very special guest, and that is SempreMilan founder and journalist Oli Fisher. It's great to have you on, Oli, so let's get things underway. How are you feeling ahead of this game then? Are you feeling confident?
Yeah, cheers for having me on, Cammy. I reckon the best way to sum up how I'm feeling about this would be nervously excited, I guess. And I imagine it's kind of the same for you guys as well, but in a different way. You know, we've had a real roller coaster of a season, and we've had a roller coaster sort of in itself under Stefano Pioli so far. Obviously, we started the season disastrously under Marco Giampaolo, and we're still kind of feeling the effects of that now, because it put us so far back in the standings from the likes of Roma and Atalanta, who are now the pace setters for that fourth spot, which is all we can really hope for this season now. But you know, things have picked up a little bit under Stefano Pioli. We now look like we have a sense of direction to our play. We've switched to a 4-4-2 formation, which seems to be getting the best out of the front two in Zlatan Ibrahimovic, a player you obviously know a lot about, and Rafael Leao, who's been a bit of an unknown quantity since he came in the summer. So yeah, I would say so far the signs are good under Pioli. There's been a bit of a recovery, especially since the turn to the new calendar year. We're unbeaten so far in 2020, which has been good. Our last result doesn't look great on paper. We drew 1-1 with Hellas Verona, but I think it's important to look at that result as in kind of isolation, because we were missing 5 of our regular starters for that game, and we weren't able to get the job done without Ibra up top. But we should be firing on all cylinders, a relatively clean bill of health for this. And in terms of what the derby means and how it tends to sort of go against form from time to time, that's where I get the excitement part of it. You know, I think if this game were to play out in sort of simulation style, then Inter would probably win 7 times out of 10, 8 times out of 10, something like that, because there is that little gap in quality at the moment, as is seen in the 19-point gap in the table. And I am scared about how the two teams match up in a formation sense as well, because we tend to struggle against teams that pack out the midfield like Antonio Conte likes to do. So yeah, I'm cautiously excited about the game, and just hope it's one of those that doesn't exactly go to plan in the form table.
Before getting into this video, if you like what we do here on SempreMilan's TV, be sure to let us know by liking and subscribing to the channel. Also, don't forget to leave a comment down below. Some really great points raised there, Oli. Personally, I'm feeling quite confident heading into this one, kind of on the basis of how we've kind of performed the whole season, and of course the fact that we won the last derby 2-0. I think the first goal on Sunday is going to be absolutely crucial kind of for the end result, and I certainly hope that it's Inter that are getting that first goal. As confident as I am, I do have a few worries heading into this game, the main one being Samir Handanovic's unavailability. He hurt his hand in training last week prior to the Udinese match, and it looks more than likely, in fact almost certain, that he's not going to play, which is a massive blow for us given how great he's been in his years with us, and he saved us many a time in a derby. But we're going to have to rely on Daniele Padelli for this one. Padelli, with all due respect to him, is nowhere near the keeper Handanovic is, but to give him some credit, he did play well in that match against Udinese. I just hope that he can maybe follow that performance up and put in another good performance. I am disappointed that we'll not be able to see Lautaro Martinez in action. He is of course suspended for this one after getting sent off against Cagliari. I feel that when him and Romelu Lukaku are playing together, Inter ultimately play better, and when they've not played together this season, we've certainly suffered, and we kind of seen that against Udinese, because for large spells we were unable to create, and it did take a long time for us to kind of find that breakthrough. But I just need to hope that either Alexis Sanchez or Sebastiano Esposito, whoever partners Lukaku, is able to step up for this one.
Yeah, that's another way that our season's been interesting so far, is that really we are lacking that one solid goal threat. Obviously you guys have Romelu Lukaku and Lautaro Martinez. Obviously the latter's banned for this game, but we are kind of missing that out and out goal scorer. Krzysztof Piątek was the second top scorer in our team before he secured a move to Hertha Berlin on deadline day, so we're without him now, and when you look at it and you see that our left back Theo Hernandez is currently the top scorer, it might set some alarm bells ringing. But in truth, he's having a freakish season. He's been in an amazing form, and he looks like the buy of the summer so far, without a doubt. He's definitely a threat, because given the formation that you guys play with wing-backs, I think it makes it perhaps more liable for Teo to go on those incisive runs, almost like an inverted full-back, and really do some damage in the central areas of the pitch, and that's where he's looked his most dangerous this season, so I'm kind of hoping we can exploit that. In terms of other threats, our goal scoring's pretty spread. Hakan Çalhanoğlu has chipped in recently with a couple of important goals, so it's nice to have him playing with a bit of confidence again, because he's been a divisive figure really amongst our fan base. Ante Rebic has come into good form as well recently, although most media outlets are tipping him to start the game from the bench, so again it'll be a case of whether he can prove himself by making an impact from the subs bench. And then really I think in terms of not necessarily the threats to you guys, but perhaps the areas where the game could potentially be lost for you guys is just if Kessie and Benacer manage to play the games of their life in that midfield and stop the midfield core that you guys have, because you could really overrun us there, and that would be where you could cause the most damage. And then you're looking at Romagnoli and Simon Kjær and whether they can neutralise the threat of Lukaku and Eriksen, who makes those tricky runs, and when he gets space he plays those incisive passes. So we'll see, I guess. A bit of a spread threat for us, but there's no one man really that you should be keeping an eye on more than Teo Hernandez.
I think Hernandez is definitely someone that we should be keeping an eye on. He's certainly someone that's got my eye this season, and it'll be interesting to see how our right hand side deals with him kind of bombing up and down on that left hand side. A player I'm personally quite wary of heading into this game is Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Of course, everyone knows what he is capable of. He's 38 or 39 now, but I mean that should not mean we should be underestimating him. Zlatan is someone who can pull kind of things out of nothing, and I think he will be absolutely pivotal for you on Sunday night.
Yeah, I hate making predictions for this game because I'm very rarely right, and it is one of those games that doesn't always tend to go to form, or it's certainly been that way since both teams have fallen off the perch since the early 2010s. I'm not feeling particularly confident. If I was to go in my head over my heart on this one, I think that you will just have a little bit too much for us. For a number of reasons, really. Like I say, we tend to struggle tactically against the three at the back, and also you are 19 points ahead and do have the better quality on paper, but who knows? It could be one of those where the pressure is perhaps a bit too much. The two teams cancel each other out. If we were to manage to get an early goal, it may just rattle your fans a bit as well, given that the form hasn't been what it was at the start of the season for you guys over the last few weeks. But for that reason, I'm going to go with a mix of head and heart and say that it's going to be an entertaining 2-2 draw.
I'm going to go for a 2-1 win for Inter. I think Romelu Lukaku is going to continue his fine goal scoring form that he's shown as of late, and we'll grab one, if not the pair of our goals, and I think your goal is going to come through Zlatan Ibrahimovic. I would say good luck to you, but not this weekend. Forza Inter.